आख्या हीमे को भवानुग्र रूपो नमो अस्तुते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं नहि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम. Hello friends, this is the 31st Shloka of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will understand this Shloka in detail. So let's first go over its meaning. So the Shloka says, Akhya hime ko bhavanugra rupo, which means, indeed, tell me who you are in the fierce form. Namo astu te devavar prasida, which means I bow down to you, the best deva. Please, vigyatum ichhami bhavantam adhyam, which means I want to know you now, today. Nahi prajanami tav pravrittim, which means I don't know for sure your intention. So, Arjun now is concluding his description of the supreme divine form of Sri Krishna. And he says that I bow down to you, the best of the devas. Please indeed tell me who you are in this fierce form. I want to know you today because I'm not able to understand what your intention is, where you are coming from and where you are going basically. So, to understand this point, we have to first understand that in Hinduism, we have such vivid picturization of the divinities. There are many divinities which are picturized in many different ways. So we have Shiva, we have Vishnu, we have Devi, we have Ganesh, we have Hanuman, and we have so many other deities, and they are all picturized in different ways. And not just that, even one single deity is picturized in many different ways. So for example, Shiva in himself is picturized in many different ways. He's picturized as Shankar, he is picturized as Rudra, he is picturized as Pashupati, as Nataraj, and many other forms he is picturized as. So in Hinduism, we are very fortunate that we have this freedom to express the divinity, to show the divinity in different forms, to basically worship him in different forms. So in other traditions, of course, they use different words for the name of the supreme, but they don't have the freedom to really show them with pictures or with music and things like that. But we have this freedom in Hinduism that we can portray the divine in many different forms, in many ways. Many divinities are there which are representing that single divinity, but it's representing that divinity from different person's point of view, different personalities point of view. And then even in those individual deities, there are different picturizations of that individual deity also. Now, while we have so many picturizations over here and they are all in front of us and they actually are representing an aspect of divinity in a symbolic manner to us, but to most of us, we don't really understand him. You know, divinity can reveal to yourself in a vision form also, and in that vision form the divinity will reveal to yourself in some form. And whatever these picturizations are that we are shown of Shankar, of Hanuman and all of that, they are all being portrayed because of that divine revelations that people have got in terms of visions. So that vision is there, but people don't really understand what it actually means. So let's consider the example of Sri Krishna himself. Sri Krishna is shown to be wearing the crown with a peacock feather. Now people say, wow, nice, peacock feather, but very few people actually understand what that peacock feather actually symbolizes. Most people just think, oh yeah, it is just beautiful. So people saw or portray Sri Krishna to be having that peacock feather, but that's not the whole thing. You should refer to my video on the Hiranyagarbha Sukta to understand what that peacock feather actually signifies. Over here, it will take too much time for me to explain it to you, but there is a meaning as to why that is the case, why he's shown with a peacock feather, what is the meaning of it. So people worship their deities and they feel good about looking at their deities, but they don't really understand the true significance of why the divinity is appearing in the form in which it is appearing. People generally worship their deity because their parents used to worship that deity. Their forefather used to worship that deity. That's why they just keep worshipping it without really understanding what their deity actually signifies. What is the main message which is there? How is the divinity present in all the beings? In what form? How is it present? So that people don't really understand. Now Arjun over here is in the same situation. The The supreme divine form of Sri Krishna is right in front of him and he is seeing it, but he is still not able to understand what it is. I mean, I've explained whatever he said over here, whatever he mentioned, I've tried to explain it to you in these shloks through the commentaries, but Arjun doesn't have that commentary in front of him. When I first see Sri Krishna with a peacock feather, I didn't understand what it actually meant. It took some amount of introspection, some amount of study to understand what it actually meant. So the same thing is happening with Arjun over here. Although he can see the supreme divine form of Sri Krishna, he cannot understand it. It's just a vision that he is getting in front of him, but he cannot understand what it actually means. So that's why he's asking this question from Sri Krishna, that I see you in front of me right over here, but I cannot understand you. What is your motivation? Why are you showing this form? What does it mean? That is what I don't understand. So this happens with everyone. Everybody who gets a vision of the divinity, they just get the vision of the divinity, right? They don't understand the whole thing. Then they have to think about it. Oh, why did the Supreme Lord revealed himself to me in this form? Why did he reveal him to me like that? This is what it represents, that is what it represents. That's what is then the process that you have to go through. So you can get the divine vision, but will you be able to understand that divine vision is something totally different. You can hear something directly from the Lord. Will you be able to understand what it means is something totally different. So that is what over here Arjun is saying. I don't understand. I cannot understand what your motivation is, what your intention is, why are you showing me this thing, who you are, what you are. Basically, that's what Arjun is asking over here. So that's the idea of this shlok. I hope that I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I'll close this video. I will see you in the next video. Take care.